Hello, Internet. Welcome back to part 6
Part 6
of the Player's Handbook.
I have to pee and I'm thirsty.
It's rough, buddy, I know. Now we're going to do multiclassing and feats. As I mentioned earlier, multiclassing in this edition, not as integral as it was in crazy builds and to make almost viable builds. The system, there's no experience penalties like there were because there's no favorite class. The only restriction you have when multiclassing is a stat. The number is 13, whatever the ability score is 13. So to multiclass you need to have whatever the 13 is in the class that you're currently in, and whatever the 13 is in the class you're going to multiclass into. So if you are a barbarian, it is strength of 13, and if you want to multiclass into sorcerer, it is a charisma of 13. So you have to have 13 in both of those stats, and that's all you need. Some classes have an option for one or the other stat.
Actually, just fighter.
Just fighter, strength, or dex.
Strength or dex.
And then some of the other ones have you need 2.
Like paladin, you need strength and charisma at 13.
And then whatever else. So that's the only thing it takes to multiclass. If you flip the page, there is a list on the left-hand side over here.
Yeah.
Some classes actually give you other things when you multiclass into them.
Yes, some don't.
Right. A lot of the times, if it's a class that gets access to medium armor or heavy armor, it will give you access to light armor, medium armor, shield, and maybe weapon types. Some will actually give you access to other things that you don't normally have, like skills. I think Ranger, Rogue, and Bard give you access to a skill.
Looks like.
And I think Bard gives you an
musical instrument.
An instrument. Does Rogue give you thieves' tools?
No.
It just gives you.
No, I'm on the wrong thing. And yes.
So there you go. So that's another way to potentially get access to things, proficiencies and stuff that you would not have.
Yep.
As I mentioned before, instances of extra attack don't stack. Instances of unarmored defense, like the barbarians unarmored and the monks unarmored, they do not stack. And what's interesting is spellcasting has a kind of a funky thing going on, where if you multiclass from a full caster to another full caster, you don't lose any spell slots. Your spell slots still progress the same way, following this table here, but you're still limited to the spells you can cast. So if you were, say, like I am in the one game I'm playing, a Bard level 2 and a Cleric level 1, those are both full casters, so that makes me a 3rd level caster. It gives me 4 level 1 spells and 2 level 2 spells, but between both I actually don't know how to cast level 2 spells yet, so I can only use those spells to cast my level 1 spells out of a higher slot, but I still have the slots themselves. And that works the same. It goes that way for paladins. If you're going to use your slots to smite, you combine them. You can use slots from any class to smite. And the bonus for warlock is theirs is a little different. The way it works is you can choose to take your warlock spells and funnel them into your other class to fuel those spells, or the other way around. So that's why a lot of the times people suggest to take a multiclass and a couple different levels for your warlock, because right off the bat, it's, what is it? What do you get at first level?
2 first level spells.
So that's 2 more. As a warlock, you only ever have 4 slots. You take 1 level, you added half of that. And what is it at 3rd level?
4 first level, 2 second level.
Take 3 levels in Bard or Sorcerer as a warlock, and you've doubled, more than doubled your spell allotment.
And with Sorcerer and Bard, you're still using Charisma as your spell, as your class.
Sorcerer, Bard, Warlock, and Paladin all use Charisma.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's
lots of options there.
That's kind of what we mentioned about Wizard, is that's 4 of your spellcasting classes use Charisma. Cleric, Druid, and Ranger all use Wisdom. And then Wizard uses Intelligence.
Only thing uses Intelligence.
So it's kind of upsetting because 4 of the very versatile classes with a lot of different things you can do can all synergize using their same casting stat. But that's it for multiclassing.
Yeah. Now we're into Feats.
Feats, as per written, is a variant rule that your DM would agree, but everybody pretty much seems to go with that.
It's in the book. There's a big thing.
And they have a whole section for it, so. Like we had mentioned, you get ability score improvements to raise one stat by 2 or 2 stats by 1 every 4 levels, and different for fighter and rogue. You have the option to forego one of those ability score improvements to get a feat instead. And in previous editions, feats were just a concept for your character.
Yeah.
This is now tied to your class, and the reason they made this is because they made much less feats overall. And they haven't added any feats since this book came out.
Mm-hmm.
And their thought behind it was if you chose a feat over a stat, they wanted it to be such a big decision on your part that whatever the feat was, you would use it every game.
Yeah.
It's something that would fundamentally change the way you played or the way your character was played, and it would you would notice it. Because there were some feats you could take in old editions that were like, you might use it once, or it might just be a step to get to the next feat that you want. There's very few feats like that you need to have this feat to get access to the next feat, and if that's the case, it's pretty much just to gain access to armor.
Yeah.
So like you need to be proficient in medium armor to gain heavy armor proficiency. So you might, if you only have light armor proficiency, then you're gonna need to take medium armor proficiency and then heavy to get there.
Yep.
So what are your thoughts on feats?
Feats, they're a really good option, especially if you're going with the if you're rolling for your stats and you roll really good stats.
Yeah.
Then choosing feats can make your character awesome. There are, like he said, less feats, but the feats that there are way better. For example, to put it in perspective for people who've played older versions, they combined Power Attack and Cleave into one feat called Great Weapon Master. So you take that and your character is, like he said, fundamentally different. You're going to use that every game. It's awesome.
Yes.
And some of the feats do bump up one of your not ability scores. Your
ability scores. You're right.
not the score. The ability scores by 1. So that's a good way if you have an odd number stat to bump it up that 1 to get to the even, to increase your modifier
And get something fun.
Get something fun in the process.
That being said, there are some that are worse than others.
Yes.
There are some that I don't know why you would ever take it, like Weapon Master, which gives you proficiency in 3 weapons. Simple or martial. What character are you using that needs proficiency in 3 weapons that they don't have? Are you a wizard? Why do you need proficiency in 3 weapons that you don't have already? You should be casting spells. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Or multi-class, 2 levels in fighter, get the action surge and get proficiency in all weapons. It's been confirmed as of this recording that it doesn't allow you to get access to weird weapons, like monster weapons, that because some of the monsters in the monster manual have really cool, powerful weapons, and technically you couldn't use them. But it doesn't work for those.
Skilled. You gain proficiency in 3 skills of your choice. Or tools.
So it's not great, but that is one that could fundamentally change the way you play your character had you chosen. I mean, if you rolled phenomenal on your stats and you're like, I don't know what to take, but you know what? Let me gain proficiency in Thieves' Tools, a Poisoner's Kit, and, I don't know, Stealth. Now I'm a fighter that has all the things that a rogue has.
True.
So, I mean, yeah, good point. No one's really going to take that, I don't think.
No. Well, especially when you have options like some of the other ones, like I said, Power Attack and Cleave in one. One that I'd like to point out that's really cool. You can take one that we were talking about range in the middle. You don't suffer disadvantage from long range. So if you have a longbow, you can shoot anything within 600 feet. No disadvantage.
And that same one actually gives you power attack for bows.
Bow power attack.
So, and I think you ignore 3/4 cover.
That might be... Yep. Ignore half and 3/4 cover, which we'll talk about in the battle section.
Yeah,
but
so...
Yeah. Feats can be really, really cool, but at the same time, you can, if you have bad stats, or you go with the standard array, or you just don't want to, you can go through the entire game, and feats will never come into play. So, really cool for character customization.
So what is your favorite feat?
I've never taken one.
What's your favorite?
I think Spell Sniper.
Yeah?
Yeah. Doubles the range of spell attacks. So, I think, do you remember what Eldritch Blast is off the top of your head?
120.
120. So, immediately doubles that. Ignores half and 3/4 covered. cover, and I think you gain more spells.
You gain one spell that uses an attack.
Yeah, so from choose the cantrip from any list, and you gain one other spell from any list.
Which is a way you could get access to Eldritch Blast if you didn't have it.
Which is awesome. So that's probably what's yours.
It's a tough call. There's some really good ones in here.
Really good ones.
And what's great is depending on what you choose as your class, there are ones that could really tie in. Like mounted combat, I don't think anybody but a paladin is going to take that because it has its benefits. Shield Master I just took. I could have used it. I forgot that I had it, but I'm going to try to use that from now on. I'm probably going to go Alert.
Alert's good. You can never be surprised. Don't ask. Can't be surprised.
It's one of the only ways to up your
initiative.
Yep. It adds flat 5 to your initiative, which is like improved initiative from the previous game, but it also makes it so that hidden creatures don't get advantage on you. So if they attack you from when they're hidden, they normally get advantage. And which, as I've seen, has been huge, is you're not surprised, which is one of the best things that's ever happened to me in this game. And I feel like in a lot of situations, sometimes it sounds stupid on my part, it allows me to keep everybody in my party alive.
Yeah, you should let them die.
You heard it here first, folks.
They should die. They should die. I'm gonna kill Torgar. I'm going to kill Torgar.